Well, hello YouTube. Hello BookTube. I have been tagged. Yes, after 3 years here on YouTube, I have been tagged by my friend Britton over at the channel. Some okie dude. He didn't think I was going to do this, but well, hey man, this one's for you. I've seen the trend around YouTube. I didn't quite understand it. Now I do because I have been tagged. So I'm going to answer 20 questions, apparently. I thought they were going to be personal questions, but lucky for you, they're not. They're all about books, right? They're all about books. So let us begin. I will not waste any more time here. So how many books are too many in a series? I'm a big fan of trilogies, I would say. I think it really depends on the series. But for me, I'm not really into long ass series. I like to jump around genres, authors. So I'm going to go with 3. Question 2, how do I feel about cliffhangers? They're fine. I think they're great at the end of chapters. I think they're not so great at the end of a novel unless the arc of that novel has completed and the cliffhanger is a lead-in to the second book. Paperbacks are hardcovers. Well, I'm going to disappoint a lot of you guys out there because I mostly read on ebook. Yes, I read on a Kindle 99% of the time, but if I had to pick one, I would pick paperbacks because they're more portable, they're easier to read. However, I love hardbacks for collecting. All right, next question. What is my favorite book? Well, I was a little prepared. I have it right here. Technically, it's 3 books, but it's in one book. This is the Southern Reach trilogy with a big X for Area X on the front by Jeff Vandermeer. And don't be jealous. This is a signed copy. Yes, I have a signed copy. But the reason why this is my favorite book, I've read it, oh man, 3 or 4 times. And I think it's because it really evoked the same feeling I got when I first discovered H.P. Lovecraft. So H.P. Lovecraft will be another person on this list, I'm sure, once I get through it. What I loved about it is it combined Lovecraft's cosmic horror, right? The mystery, the strangeness, the unknown, with the human element, the human touch, right? There's heart in this tale. So it's not like a lot of books out there where they're all about adventure or they're all about mystery. This combines both of those things. It combines the mystery of the unknown with something that will pull at your heartstrings, something that will make you think. So I will say the Southern Reach trilogy. I know that's probably cheating, but that's what I'm going to say because I have a single volume. What is my least favorite book? That's a tie between 2, actually. The Library at Mount Char. I can't remember the author, but I also pulled up one here. Cosmology of Monsters by Sean Hamill. Wow, what an absolute disappointment that was. It had such a great start and it completely fell apart for me. Again, I thought it was going to be not necessarily in the Lovecraft vein, but something that combined horror with again, that human element. But man, fell apart. Terrible, terrible book. Also, don't read The Library at Mount Char. It's heavily overrated. That's another book that I finished that I cannot stand. How do I feel about love triangles? Yes or no? I guess. I don't really care. I mean, it's fine. They seem a little cliche, but I guess if done well, I'm okay with it. The most recent book I couldn't finish. Well, that will be another fun, controversial one. That one is Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. In fact, I have an entire video of why I quit that novel. I think it might make another question on this list. I just briefly glanced over them. Okay, the book I am currently reading, well, I'm actually reading 2 books currently right now. I'm reading The Vor on my read-along book club, which you should totally join, by Brian Catlin. And I'm also reading The Fisherman by John Langan. So a horror, kind of cosmic horror novel, and then a fantasy novel. The last book I recommended, Galveston, I think. I don't know why it's coming to mind, but Britton, who tagged me in this video, I think he might have mentioned it or showed a photo of it or something like that. And I said, oh yes, read that book. Read that book. It's fantastic. I'm a massive fan of True Detective, and Nick Pizzolatto's writing is something to behold. The oldest book I read, I was thinking Picnic at Hanging Rock. Okay, actually, the oldest book I've read is A Study in Scarlet by Mr. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. According to Google, it was published in 1887, so I believe that is the oldest book I have read. The newest book I have read, well, I just finished it a little bit ago. I actually am going to have a review very shortly, and that is Bringer of Light by Frank Janis. He is an independent author. I don't read many indie authors, but he generously provided a copy, and I checked it out. So that is the newest book I read. Who is my favorite author? Well, that will be Mr. H.P. Lovecraft. I know, another controversial take, but I'm going to probably do a whole other video on this, but He created something in fiction, when I discovered him back when I was about 12 or 13, that just completely blew me away. I don't know what it was. I guess it was the concept of the unknown and cosmic horror that really sucked me in. And even though as a kid it was difficult for me to read because of the writing style, there was just something about it that made me continually go back and back and back to it. In fact, I have much of his collection up here on the shelf, on his own little shelf. Buying books or borrowing them. I will say buying books. I love the idea of libraries, but I don't know what it is. I like owning books, even though I've given away my books time and time again. Every time I move, essentially, I dump a lot of books. All right, a book I dislike that everyone seems to love. Well, this is going to be another controversial take. I'll leave Gardens of the Moon out of it because I've already mentioned that book, but how's this one? Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I can't stand that series. I don't get the hype. I just, maybe I read it too late in life. I read it when I was maybe 20-ish. I actually didn't finish it, full disclosure. Yeah, I was like 20, 21. I remember I worked at B. Dalton way back in the day. I worked at Barnes & Noble after that, and a bookseller there encouraged me to read it. She said, "You're going to really like this." And guess what? I absolutely hated it. So yes, I can't stand Harry Potter. I think it's an age thing. I don't get the hype. I've tried it. I've seen all of the damn movies. I'm sure the storytelling is similar in that regard, but I don't get it. I don't like it. Bookmarks or dog ears? I don't even really want to entertain that question. To me, anyone who dog ears a book is a terrible, terrible person. Books I can always reread. Well, I would say that would be the Southern Reach trilogy, which I've read, like I said, numerous times. Lovecraft, who I've dipped into numerous times. Anything Cormac McCarthy, I can revisit that. So The Road is a book I've read a few times. And The Passenger and Stella Maris are definitely two books that I'm going to revisit sometime in the future. Can you read while listening to music? I always listen to music while I read. I always listen to music while I write. However, no lyrics, right? It's usually ambient stuff, electronic, instrumental, stuff like that. But more slow paced, right? I got to have easy listening. I guess I'm just got these old ears on my head, and I can't be bothered by the anything too upbeat while I'm reading. Soundtracks too. One POV or multiple POVs? My heart tells me one POV. I love a singular POV. I love intimate stories, right? I love exploring a world with a single POV rather than multiple POVs. That said, a lot of books are written in multiple POVs. I've read plenty of them, and I think they're fine. But I feel like the more characters you add, the more you are diluting the story. You are diluting my experience, because the experience I like to have is exploring character. And now I know George R. R. Martin, he does many POVs, but again, he's writing massive tomes, and it's a long series that will probably never be finished. But one POV, sorry, long answer. Can you read in one sitting or over multiple days? Always multiple days. I'm a very slow reader. You'll know if you're a subscriber on this channel. My book reviews are very few and far between, so I'm a slow reader. Multiple days, multiple weeks, sometimes multiple months. All right, final question. Who do I tag? Well, I'm going to tag Shelf Unstable, Amanda, who doesn't upload much content, but I love her content. She's extremely funny. She's extremely clever. So Shelf Unstable. And also The Falcon Reads. So I'm sorry I don't know your name. I don't know if you've ever said it on your channel, but he has fantastic book reviews and analyses about all kinds of things. He's a far more well-read person than I am. So if you want some really great deep dives into literature, go check out his channel. So Shelf Unstable and The Falcon Reads. I also almost forgot one person I'm going to tag, and that is Lee Hunts. Go check him out. He only has a few videos on this channel, but he writes these extremely thoughtful, in-depth reviews, mostly online, but he's been bringing some of those to YouTube. So tag, you're it.